Hello there everybody and welcome to my beginner's guide for Sands of Salzaar. I'm Icon and this video will go over the basic gameplay mechanics and I'm going to explain everything you need to know to enjoy this sandbox RPG. As usual, you will find timestamps in the description box, so if you're looking for a specific topic, there you'll find it. We're going to start with the first thing in this video, and that's the character creation. Here you see these are the playable characters, and these are basically kits that you can play. So the Spirit Mancer, the Jackal, and so on and so forth. When you click them, you get a little bit of a description of their role, their powers in physical and magical combat. So it's worth reading them. They are all fit to be a part of the world and a part of the lore, so the longer you play the game, the more sense these will make. We're going to start out with a Spirit Mancer, and feel free to try out whatever you want to. So the difficulty levels give you an impression of how hard it will be to start out the game. If you're completely new, the Spirit Mancer is a nice experience because he's pretty powerful on his own, and he comes with another hero, so it's a pretty balanced experience. The only thing worth mentioning here on top of that is that all of these come with their own story. So the Spirit Mancer has a different story than the Berserker and so on and so forth. So there is a little bit of a background story involved. You see, there's a mentioning if they have plot quests or not. So the other classes here, they are more bland and not bland. Well, they don't come with their own background. You'll have to make your own background. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, let's get in there and select the Spirit Mancer. We're keeping the visuals of that old chap. You can customize that to your own liking. So we're going to name this dude, and the next thing we're going to meet is the legacy system. Legacy points are your prestige currency that you earn while playing the game, and they persist between gameplays. So it's totally worth it to try out different characters and try whatever you want to. Here you can buy skills, items, squad members, or alter the settings. So this one gives you access to more favor with the game's big factions. Here you can hire new heroes. Here you can get some supplies and stuff or skills for your character. This is all a little bit overwhelming at first, at least for me it was. Here's some simple guiding. First, think about if your character is going to be more physically or magically biased. For the Spirit Mancer, it's quite easy. He's going to be a magically biased character. When you read the description of these skills, there's one really important thing. And that's the question, is it a physical or a magical attack? So when you read the equation, you'll always see whether the multiplier in the equation is physical or magical. So for my Spirit Mancer, I'll try to select only skills that have a multiplier on magical attacks, because otherwise these skills come off pretty weak, no matter how high you skill them. Beyond that, just go for whatever feels good for you. You start out with 60 legacy points at the beginning of the game. We're going to start out with Frost, so I really like that one. It freezes enemies, and we're going to buy from the rest of these points a couple of extra resources. Utar are basically the currency here, so these give you extra resources for 30 points. And I'll just pick up one of these potions to show you their effect later, and a couple of extra Utar here in the form of deep pockets. The longer you play the game, the more of an impressive start you can give your character, and it's really up to you what you want to try. So let's confirm that and leave the character creation and enter the actual game. So now we're going to see a little bit of the background story of our character. Like I mentioned, every character has his own background story. I'm going to skip this right now because we're here to explain the game, not to experience the story. You always start out with this little key binding informational thing, including a little bit of a typo, and I'll leave that just for you to enjoy. I don't want to go too deeply into the controls. You can find the controls here in the settings, hotkey settings, and that's where you can find all the controls. If you are looking for something in particular, you'll find it there. I'll be talking about a couple of nifty things in between of the video, but I don't want to explain basic controls here at this point. User interface goes like this. Over here, we see the time of the day and how many days have already passed, or wealth of stuff. Quest tracker telling us what to do next. Down here, we have a message log where we can see what kind of news have happened. And if you want to check out something that has happened in the past, here you'll find it. Here you find your legacy manager ledger. So here you see how you can earn legacy points. And down here you see the mini map. If you press that little plus button, you can see the environmental map. Down here there are several buttons for the control of things. So here we see our party menu. Here we see the inventory of people. Every character comes with inventory and equipment slots. So you see there's armor, weapon, accessory, and mount. For heroes, they all come with these. In the party screen, you can upgrade people and teach them skills. We're going to learn here one of our skills first, and that's the psychic bullet. Don't you worry, these trees are pretty simple. I can only learn this skill here in the spirit magic. The description comes with the skill. We're just going to skill 1 point here by left clicking it and save that, and it instantaneously goes into the action bar. You can drag and drop these if you want to change that. It's pretty simple and self-explanatory. Your buddy Zainab comes with her own skill trees, and as you see here, you can select for yourself where you want to put your points. The legacy skills have to be learned as well as the other things. You get the idea, I guess. It's pretty simple. So over here is the talent system. These are passives that influence your life as a mercenary captain. So here you can do a lot of different things. You can upgrade your march speed, you can upgrade your how much XP your dudes get. I personally enjoyed a lot this skill tree that came with free resources. So here you have, if you go down the trader route, you get daily jade, and down here at the end you get daily resources. But go down the roads and check them out. It's really up to you and your playstyle what you prefer there. Here goes the quest log. I think that goes without saying. And here's the intel system, which is basically your faction standing menu. Here's the big factions of the game, and here's the big baddie factions of the game, and whatever character shows up that you have met, you will find some information there. Same goes for locations, how they like you or dislike you, and here's how Zainab likes you. And that pretty much sums up the user interface. So we're going down the road here. This is a beginner environment and a intro quest, and when we're crossing this part here, we're going to meet the first combat. So we're leaving the user interface part now and going into the combat part. So this dude is in trouble, and he wants him to he wants us to save him. So combat works like that. You move with by pressing down the left mouse button. You see him moving here. If you just hold down the left mouse button on the enemy, you do basic attacks. And you see the enemy here has its points. And here, if you press the button there, bound to the skill Q, you get a little bit of a readout where it's aimed. Press again, and then you cast that spell. And that's pretty much the basics about combat. You're most likely going to be doing more fancy stuff later down the road, but these are the fundamentals about combat. So after we've done that, we're going to go over a little bit of quest yada yada. I'm going to skip that if you forgive me. And then we're going to get access to the real world. So the caravan here will take us to wherever we want to go. I'd highly suggest you to take the recommended area because it's a very easy area to go for, and it's pretty cool to start here. And now we are on the real world, and let's get on with the exploration of the world. So when you press the little plus button here on the mini map, or you can just press M, you can here see the environment. I haven't uncovered anything, and if you use the mouse wheel to zoom further out, at some point you'll enter the world map, or you'll just click the world map. The world map works like this. You see, if you mouse over these regions, there's a certain region highlighted. That's one big map. So right now we're in this highlighted chunk. So what you see here, this all here around you, this is this one highlighted chunk. There are map crossing points where you can cross from one map to another, and they belong to the big factions. That's the gist of it. When you're running around here, there are people you can meet that you can talk to, and there's lots of things to discover. First off, everything that glitters like this stone here has some interaction value for you. So this one, for example, is a talent shard. This gives you a part of a new talent point. So when you have found enough talent shards, you receive a new talent point. Over here, you see there's this little thingy. There's a limestone flower. You'll find all these things that you find in your adventures down here in this in the inventory. Hotkey for that would be B. And these are alchemical reagents. You can either sell them as they are or wait until you find a potion trader who will transform them into potions for you. Here you see you find items and so on and so forth. Here in the inventory there are things that are worth explaining. So the rage elixir here, for example, is a booster for crit rate. Every consumable can be put into the hotbar here, so if you want to use them for further combats. Here the spirit potion is one item that increases the spirit of one character by 5. So if you want to use items like these directly, you just right click them in the inventory, choose the according character and confirm. That's that. So now you can now explore the world, and you see there are merchants to find, but the most important thing here is that you will find these villages, those towns. So another nifty thing to know is you can click every of these points of interest, left click them, and then you get this little menu, move there, and your dudes will move there all on their own. I found that a very, very comfy little thing, but you will miss out little opportunities on the wayside like these. So another thing on the wayside like these are icons like this helmet here. So when you're interested at things, about what things are, just mouse over here. And this is a holding cell. I'll click that. So here you get a readout of what's happening there. Exploration mode tells you what kind of encounter it is. Party of 4 means heroes only, no troops. We're going to talk about troops in a minute. And here you see the rules of engagement, and here's the recommended level. I highly suggest you to respect the recommended level, and then you can take off. Here, for example, if you win this encounter, you will get a free recruit into your party for that, but you have to get this done. Here's a banner, which will be your respawn point when you get beaten. And don't you worry about getting beaten too much in this game. You'll just respawn at the next best banner. You have a certain chance of losing troops as a punishment, but usually there's not too much to be worried about for losing a combat, at least not at the beginning of the game. So here's the first settlement, is to see here. When you mouse over this, you see all the units guarding this thing. That's not too important, but this is just to give you an impression that you shouldn't mess with these just with 2 people. So let's get started and talk about cities. So cities consist always out of a city center, a tavern, and the tribal hall where the sultans are residing. So at the city center, you will always have a chief that's linked to this specific place, a merchant, and, well, the other people are pretty dependent on the place. In the taverns, you always will find brawlers and other people. Brawlers, well, tavern brawls are kind of a mini game where you can go into pugilism, and, well, combat system works just like I've shown you, just with fist fighting skills. You'll get it when you see it. What's really important here at the city centers is that you can do trade. So click that merchant and you see what they have in store for you. Over here is the inventory of these dudes. Over here is your inventory. If you want to buy something, just right click it. It moves over to your inventory. Press confirm and you bought it. I'm buying here a mount because mounts are cool. If possible, buy a second one as well, but sadly we're not finding anything. We're also going to buy some food here. As you see, there's because we're pretty low on resources. Food works like that. You see there's a durability attached to that cabbage, 40 of 40, and that's depicting how much daily rations that will offer. And on top of that, these things also have a expiration date. So basically you can serve out of 1 unit of cabbage 40 daily rations basically, and these 40 will expire in 18 days. So if you don't have enough people in your caravan, this stuff will ultimately go bad. The merchants also sell specialty goods, which you can sell somewhere else, and stuff that you can equip to your people. It's highly worth plundering enemies and selling their items for the sake of money earning. I guess you get the idea at this point. What's really cool and worth knowing there as well is to go for the quests that you can get in these city centers. So when you go for the chief, you can click this dude and they're going to give you a request about the quests. As soon as you have a couple of troops together, these are what you're going to do to develop your character. But right now we're not, because we're not capable of really fighting larger fights. My character is alone with his little sidekick. The first thing that I want to do is check out other camps and search for one where I can hire troops. This one didn't have a NPC for that, so we're going to go over that. This is very important to start out with a couple of troops because you're going to be pretty weak to face the quests otherwise. So auto move is a true blessing, as I personally think, because it's pretty comfy. So let's check out Ember Camp, and here there's a village elder who's offering you the recruitment of troops. We're going to do this, and he's offering me some Nazir militia. And we're going to say yes to that. We're going to recruit these dudes, and we're going to recruit them twice, but, well, I can only do that once per week. So now we're going to get into our party menu and check out this. So we have now our 2 heroes, and I'm going to go now over this team selection screen a little bit more in detail. So here we see the stats of our dudes, and HP and MP, well, it goes without saying. Magical skills eat MP. Without HP, you'll die. The stat distribution here depicts your mobility. Agility is your movement. Strength is your physical attack. Spirit is your magical attack. And stamina is your resilience. Here you see the distribution of your battle stats. Magical attack is a high bias here. And here you see a couple of other regeneration things, movement speed, and so on and so forth. So Zainab works just like the Spirit Mancer here. See, she also has that skill menu here. And unlike my character, she has a bias towards physical attack. So the squad down here works differently though. As you see here, they have a party size and they have quite similar stats there, but the first thing to mention here is they don't have these base stats. They only come with battle stats. Here you see a couple of movement things, and here this troop type thing is unique to all your squad members. You see, I can have here 3 heroes together and 6 squad members. These numbers are expandable. You see here the traits of these dudes, so they gain XP faster, and they are good at defense of magic. Well, okay, that comes from Zainab, obviously. And the most important part here is to watch this. So you see here how this troop attacks. And one-handed knives are pretty weak against everything, but I mean, these dudes are militia. You see here what kind of defense type they are and what kind of class they are. And if you check this out, defense type light. And you see here that there is no specific modifier towards light armor, but if people have different armor types, you get the idea. So here, the promote section here looks entirely different. The squads don't have skill trees. The squads have these upgrade trees, and that's where the game goes places. So as you see here, as soon as the Nazir militia has turned level 4, they can be upgraded to the Nazir infantry. There's not much difference. They only swap over to medium armor. So here you see the medium armor has benefits, whereas light armor doesn't even have benefits. And after that, we can select at the next tier, reached when they hit level 7, if we're going to transform them into melee dudes, spear fighters, cavalry, archers, or healers. And you see that skill tree goes all the way down here. So this militia, we can select how to upgrade them. And this is how your troop system works in this game. There are lots of different troops, and you see here this Nazir militia is only one of the main faction's troops. So here the Nazir, this is basically their base, their ground unit, and across the game you will find lots and lots of different other units that you can use and play with and upgrade. It's a lot of fun. To upgrade squads you will need money and those resources, so that's why you should pay attention to these. And now let's get over to the questing here. So you can quest for towns, and you can quest for NPCs that are sitting here sometimes at taverns. So here we only have a wrestler. I already mentioned that. I don't want to go too deep into that because it's kind of a side game. I say kind of because certain quests involve that. But here, let's go to the commissions. And here they want me to deliver wheat flour. They know that you can buy it at these places. So Redstone Keep, Fleur, and so on and so forth. Remember one of these. And we're going to accept that. Redstone Keep. I remember that one. And let's get out of there, select the map, and here Redstone Keep is directly around the corner. So there's one thing worth mentioning. You can only trade on one of these map chunks after you've acquired a trade license. So you will have to buy a trade license for every one of these big map chunks, which will cost you around 1,000 UTAR. So definitely worth it, but if you have to swap a map tile to do the trade, you will have to buy a trade license first before you can do it. So now we're going to go over here. You see there are lots of other NPC parties doing their thing here in the world as well. Now we're going to go over to the merchant and buy that specialty wheat flour. Here, right click that, select the 5 they want. You could also bring more if you want to, but we're going to stick with the quest ingredients here. Oh, I forgot to equip the horse. So inventory, just right. Oh, I'm not leveled up to level 5. Okay, I missed that one. So watch the requirements. And now let's get back to Ember Camp. I bought the wheat flour, and there we go. Questing for NPCs at the tavern works just the same. They will have different quests for you, though. And it becomes easier the more troops you have allocated in your roster to do combat missions. But overall, don't you worry to accept little quests like these as long as you have enough money. The ones where you have just to do work like that pay off pretty well and give you the option to stock up money to get the people that you need. And what's also important here is that we gained, oh well, slipped now out of here. Well, we gained standing with the Ember Camp people. And the more standing we gain with these people, the more likely they're going to give us better troops and so on and so forth. For more people in your party, you will have to meet those heroes that you can sometimes find in taverns. So let's get back to Redstone Keep and show you what I mean. Beyond that, you will find here also these little scrolls on the map. These are quests that are bound to the to the territory. They are open to everybody. Those little red dots here on the map are enemies that you can hunt for loot and such. I guess you already got the idea. So there we go. Back to that city here. And there in the tavern we see Alaf Jahim. We're going to talk with him. Basically everybody who comes with a level at his name is a hero that you can meet. And let's talk a little bit about social things in this game, because social interaction has to be in every Chinese game ever. So you can find heroes to recruit them, but if you ask him here, but he's not going to go for that. Sometimes, I'm not sure if everybody can be recruited. Here he says he's too old to leave, but I guess once he likes you enough, he's going to change his thoughts there. But what's important to know is the yellow one here, if you run errands for these dudes here, I need to have this message delivered to Shahid, currently in Crying Rock. So we're going to do this. And again, we check out the map. In Crying Rock, let's go out there. I have no clue where that is, so press that. And now in the quest log, you can just click that, show location, and then you see there's where you gotta go. And I'll just tell my character to move there. It's the easiest way to find dudes that you don't know where they're at. So the gist of it here is you can rack up more people by doing favors for them. The more favors you do for the heroes, the more likely it is to recruit them at some point. And you see now here, there's Alaf Jahim now, and we see his character sheet now. There's also this dude called Shahid. I don't know where we met him, but you get the idea. If their standing is good enough, they will be ultimately willing to join you. And exploring these maps is also good for you to develop your skills, and we pretty much already summed up the majority of the parts of Sands of Salzaar. You have this exploration part, you have this trading part between towns, standing grinding, and with the social interactions with people in taverns, you can ultimately recruit more people into your party. You can also have dialogues with your party members still. So Zainab, you can also give her a gift and increase the standing even more. There's also, I think, if I remember correctly, there should be also romance options. I haven't been down the road that far yet, to be quite honest with you. But you get the idea. That's how it works. It's either gifts or doing errands for them. If you want to go the gift way, though, you'll have to check out that, let's see, there's another dude, that everybody likes certain set of items, so occult, mystery, and so on and so forth. So the better you know those people, the more likely you'll know for what kind of item you'll look. If the NPC that you are supposed to deliver something to is not findable, check out the tribal hall and ask for somebody here. And here, this Shahid dude is sitting there, and I can't deliver the letter here. So if you're looking for somebody you won't find, you'll have to mess with the guards here and tell them that you have something to do there. Okay, so that's pretty much that. And the game, well, goes on and on. You level up. Ultimately, you learn new skills. You gain more and more squad members. You level them up. You follow the quest lines, and you gain more party members. Yeah. That's the progression chain of Sands of Salzaar. The beautiful thing about this game is that it totally lets you decide what to do. You can totally decide whether you want to be a marauding menace to the society here. You can also decide to have war with a certain faction, or you can decide to conquer a certain town and be the steward of that. It's really, really up to you, and that's what's making this game quite lovely. So I have not much more to say in this regards. I thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful for you. If there are any questions left, just drop them into the comment box below. Leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and of course consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. There's a lot of content coming up from my side every day. You just need to turn on that notification bell and you won't miss anything in the future. Besides that, I'd be delighted if you check out the description box's links a little bit further. You'll find my Twitch channel there where I do daily streams, or at least I try to. And you'll also find my Discord community there, and last but not least, ways and means to support this channel directly. I thank you so much for your time and attention, and see you guys next time. Bye bye.